Did you know that the Japanese language has many equivalents to the English word I? Each one carries its own personality and nuance, reflecting the character's traits and behavior. Many male characters in manga and anime use ore, but it's quite rare for a character like Okarun to use Jibun.
Let's go. すいません。自分不器用なんで。
In the dubbed audio of the anime, this distinction isn't noticeable. However, in the original manga and Japanese subtitles, the word is written in katakana, which adds an interesting layer. We'll explore this unique choice of representation later. To begin with, the term Jibun carries a unique cultural weight in Japan. It's closely associated with the renowned actor Ken Takakura, whose iconic line from a commercial,
自分不器用ですから
remains deeply memorable. While not a line from one of his films, it perfectly captures the essence of the reserved yet earnest characters he often portrayed, leaving a lasting impression on the Japanese public. Ken Takakura's portrayal of characters in Ninkyo Eiga, Yakuza films, during the 1960s left a lasting impression. Many of these characters were silent, stoic, and valued loyalty above all else, often demonstrating an ascetic, self-disciplined nature. Despite their reserved and self-restrained demeanor, they exuded a strong sense of conviction, which made these roles widely admired and iconic.
This is a stark contrast to this guy.
The characters in Ninkyo Eiga, or chivalry films, embody a moral code similar to chivalry, emphasizing loyalty, honor, and self-sacrifice. However, unlike knights who often represent societal justice, these characters operate outside the law, creating a fascinating contrast between their villainous roles and their unwavering sense of justice. If you're a gamer, you might find it easier to imagine Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza.
龍が如く
It's likely that his character was at least partially inspired by the Ninkyo Eiga characters played by Ken Takakura. The first-person pronoun, Jibun, is historically associated with groups that value discipline, such as samurai and the military. Notably, it conveys an image of someone who is physically and mentally strong, yet does not flaunt their power. Instead, it reflects humility and a strong sense of personal accountability. In a previous video, we discussed how Japanese often omits the subject of a sentence. Okarun also tends to omit subjects in his speech. As a humble and action-oriented person, he rarely engages in excessive talking or self-promotion. Conversely, characters with strong self-assertion often explicitly state the subject, even in situations where omission would be natural. For example, Inosuke from Demon Slayer is a highly assertive and action-oriented character who frequently emphasizes
俺が
I will, or I am, to claim credit or responsibility. Inosuke uses sama, an honorific usually reserved for others, to elevate himself and assert his importance. He also uses his own name as the subject, a common trope for bold or assertive characters in anime and manga. The frequency with which a character uses the subject can reveal much about their personality. In these critical moments, Okarun uses Jibun as his personal pronoun. He overcomes his introverted nature, asserts himself, and takes responsibility to protect others.
狙いは自分なんでしょ。自分が相手になりますよ。自分が戦います。よこいてください。急にどうした？宇宙人なら怖くないっす。
In the next scene, Gigi and Okarun talk about the things they like about Momo. Although this conversation could work without subjects, both characters refuse to yield in their assertions. As a result, they intentionally use subjects to compete with each other.
自分は綾瀬さんの初めての友達で尊敬してますし、大切な人です。ナイスパス。大切な人ね。尊敬なんだね。俺はモモの顔も性格もめっちゃ好き。自分だって。尊敬って言ったじゃん。プラス尊敬ってことですよ。ずるくねそれ。じゃあ俺それプラスモモの目好き。はい俺の勝ち。じゃあ自分はそれプラス口好きです。はい自分の勝ち。はいダメそれダメ。ダメとかなし。 が顔好きって初め言ったからオカルンのなし。だったらジジさんの目好きっていうのもダメです。俺はいいの。俺もまだ幼馴染。カチン。
Let's take a moment to reflect. In the anime scene, Momo thinks about Ken Takakura.
Times like this, I wonder, what would the Ken I love do? When I'm confused and can't decide, I ask myself that, and I always pick right. So, if Ken had to choose, he'd step up and help. And that's what I'm gonna do.
Ken Takakura's characters are symbolic of strong conviction, a spirit of self-sacrifice, and a quiet, stoic demeanor. The first-person pronoun, Jibun, conveys impressions of both physical and mental strength, humility, and stoicism. These characteristics combine to shape Okarun's use of the word Jibun.
Seriously? Isn't this way too stiff?
That's why omitting pronouns and using different writing styles helps to soften the tone. Let's revisit the interesting point about written expression mentioned earlier. The Japanese language is composed of 3 distinct writing systems: kanji, hiragana, and katakana. Each system adds a unique nuance or impression to words through its specific characteristics. For example, kanji is often associated with strength and emphasis in meaning. Hiragana conveys softness and approachability, and katakana provides visual impact and a modern impression. In manga, these characteristics are frequently utilized to enhance the individuality of characters and the atmosphere of their worlds. Let's explore the 4 possible reasons why Okarun's use of Jibun is written in katakana in Dandadan. Katakana's sharp, angular form naturally draws attention, giving it strong visual impact. Katakana feels lighter and more modern than kanji. This complements the playful and dynamic style of Dandadan. Unlike kanji, which emphasizes strength and established meaning, katakana provides a more flexible and mild impression. This suits Okarun, who has not yet achieved established strength and is still striving to grow stronger. Katakana conveys a sense of instability and adaptability, reflecting his evolving character. Katakana may suggest a duality between Okarun's quiet, everyday persona and a more enigmatic, shadowy aspect of himself. This subtle contrast evokes the light and shadow theme, often seen in characters portrayed by Ken Takakura. The interpretation of katakana usage is not necessarily definitive, as the author may have had different intentions. However, it is clear that the choice of katakana was deliberate. This technique is often seen in many manga, such as the Hinokami Kagura from Demon Slayer and the recently popular Orb. I plan to explain these in future discussions. In Japanese, even short words often carry profound nuances. Discovering and understanding these nuances can enhance your enjoyment of the story. Next time, we'll focus on the personal pronoun, watakushi, used by transformed Ira. If you're curious about Japanese personal pronouns, check out this video for a brief summary. When creating that video, I couldn't find many characters who use watakushi, and I could only introduce Gyoko from Demon Slayer. However, I believe Ira embodies the quintessential use of watakushi, so I'll go into detail about it next time. Interestingly, actor Ken Takakura often used Jibun in his roles. However, in interviews, he chose boku, a first-person pronoun. This choice resembles Satoru Gojo's use of boku in Jujutsu Kaisen, which we discussed in a previous video. It's a way to avoid intimidation while expressing a calm and approachable demeanor.
はい、お疲れ様でした。
見てくれてありがとう。